You're such an asshole.
We got to answer asshole consulting podcasts and writing books. We got to go and do a live stream. We got to go and collect super chats. Should modernize that. All right. This is sit down and pour yourself a drink. He didn't know email or video. I'm just going to do a video because it's going to be easier this way. I'm going to anonymize things. Hi, Cappy, mid-30s guy living in a leftist crap hole. Single, no kids. IQ 125-ish. Tested 3 times. Came out to be the same. I am also on the autistic spectrum. Are you really? Are you? Or did you just not have good parents? I gotta know. Like legit, you went in. You're Rain Man. You could count 1,000 toothpicks on the floor, but you can't shift into second gear. Since a few months before the lockdown, I've been working remotely. Okay. For a partial part of that time, decided to work multiple remote jobs without my employers knowing about it as a technical and as a thing. You're doing a thing. So you are working multiple remote jobs. Okay. In a you're in a STEM field doing a thing. All right, got it. I've used money from the jobs to save, start a business as well as begin my DBA in artificial intelligence and data analytics in conjecture with my work. I'm not doing this to get a better position or to teach, but for my chance to have research and be part of a learning committee. Is that the way you get into a learn? Okay, hang on. One, why do you want to be part of a learning committee? All right. Which is fine if you want to be part of a learning committee, whatever that is. Is this like at the schools? Is it at the university? And if that's what you want, that's what you want, fine. Is this the path you do that? Because to me, it sounds like you have to get a doctorate or a master's degree. Like you'd have to be in academia to be part of a learning committee, unless this is a different path and route you want to do, which is fine. I don't care. You could tinker with your thing. I ended up being laid off from 2 jobs last year. One was not a good fit, and the other I had some run-in with management as I was new to this particular type of job, which is the first type of job that you got. I was finally laid off from the final employment this spring and have been close to getting other job offers. I'm eager about this because I believe I can look back on past several years and I'm better able to understand where my strengths and weaknesses are and see reentry as a way to redeem myself because I take majority responsibility over why I was let go and like to do better. Now, then I asked you, I said, why did you get, how did you get fired? Did you screw up? I think one was you were laid off, another was economic factors, and only one of the 3 was quote unquote due to you. All that being said, I'm very suspect when someone gets actually fired because corporate America is so corrupt, so inept, and so filled with douchebags. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Take any company you've been fired from or let go from, even like laid off or not asked back, whatever variation. Is that company still around? Like, the reason I show you that is I look at all these companies that I didn't work at, either being fired or I left, or they didn't renew the contract, or actually state law came in and I couldn't teach anymore. All these schools, employers, finance, they're all gone. They didn't last. And what's that proof of is that I know you all think, oh, they're the boss. They know. No, they don't. The majority of businesses fail. The majority of bosses are failures. So even if you were fired, like legit fired, okay, it wasn't grandiose ignorance. Chances are it's some MBA dude bro douchebag who's trying to lie and scam you, and like you weren't doing exactly what he said, even though he lied about the job description. In other words, I wouldn't take it so personally because twice it was legit outside your control. The third one, at best, maybe you had an influence in getting fired. Maybe you screwed up. But I rarely, that's not rarely, but it's rarely just the employee's so bad and they screw it up. I've been let go of jobs before in my 20s. It was quite traumatizing, and that is why I took full advantage of more work and jobs than I could handle because the experience of not working was so agonizing that I vowed to say never again. But here I am. All right. So you went way too far the other. You only have so many hours in the day. I think taking on 2 full-time jobs is enough. You went 3, and maybe that's why you got fired from the 3rd, because you just couldn't do it. Um, yeah, and look, it's not that I didn't put in good effort. I put in great effort. The last real job I had, I made it a dedicated effort to do exactly everything they said to the letter. Like, I did it perfect because all I needed to do was last there to keep my sign-on bonus, and then my financial situation would have been drastically improved. And I just wanna, like, okay, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? What I'm just absolutely everything by the book. And no, it's them. It was them. Uh, but in doing that, what I really and I actually I take that back. There was another job I did where it was, like, pretty like, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna make sure. Um, if you do that for 2 jobs, you should be full. There should not be room for a 3rd job, right? And you have to do them thoroughly and correctly. Like, you can't take 3 jobs and do them all 75%. You'll get fired from all 3. 2 jobs, 100% each, 110% each. That should work, right? But I think you're just doing poor time management. I think you could take that. I live at a friend's home month to month and have had good experience until recently. With the extra work, the stress came with it and began to neglect my health. I gained weight, which I'm working off now, and my mental health got worse. I realized that being on the spectrum was something that money could not. No, 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 no. You made a bad decision and put yourself in a bad environment that had negative consequences. Your autism, real or not, had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. I came inside a girl's pussy and out came a child. My autism. Hey, boo boy. You stuck your dick in crazy and didn't wrap it up. It has nothing to do with your autisms. uh, some money could not fix despite a bout of short-term success. I took what I had for granted and I end up where I am now. Even with my multiple gigs and had a girlfriend and other experiences with women, I found being in a relationship to only add to my anxiety, even if they weren't westernized. Well, yeah, and you got fat too. So don't forget that. God damn it, chair move. Christ, gotta get one of these flat plastic things. I started to lose more motivation and become more bitter because of this. Yeah, you took on more work. I can't imagine what it's like. Well, I can't imagine what it's like working 100 hours a week. I wasn't happy in those days. I was down to one job several months ago, and that is when my already depleting mental health took a dive for the worst. And I truly like it just took a dive, huh? Well, you weren't exercising and you're eating shit. Let's stop right there, huh? Losing my mind and its close friends and family, which leads me to where I am now. I'm now doing an activity, good activity, 5 to 6 times a week, watching my weight and have a job offer pending for a lot of money. That's what you need. Okay. What you just listed here is what you should do going forward. Let's say you get the job. Okay. This is the perfect life balance so that you're not burning yourself out at both ends with 3 jobs. You have an activity you're passionate about. That sounds fun. That sounds good. Keep doing it. Absolutely. You're watching your weight. Good. Eat healthy. You're getting a lot of exercise doing that. So I don't know if you need any more exercise. And you got an outstanding job offer coming in plus other leads. So let's just say you get one job. Okay. That's it. That's enough. Knock it off. If you want to get a little side gig going on, you want to run your business there, your DBA, okay, that's fine, but not at the sacrifice of those 3 things. Your physical health, which is also your mental health, which is your exercise that you're doing. All right, your dieting, putting the right fuel into your system, and then having a highly paid, good professional job. That's it. And assuming the job doesn't turn out to be a bait and switch and they lie to you and some dude, bro, okay, like it's a good job, it's on the up and up. That's it. That's it. And maybe on the side, you pursue your business. So in a way, things are getting better. I'm going to try focus on fixing my mental health from the stress and anxiety. How about stop putting yourself in stressful and anxious situations? Because it haunts me regardless of my circumstances. My friend who is like a brother to me, who I am living with, we had a great friendship. He was about to get foreclosed on. I gave him work to do so he could stay afloat. He eventually found a job. Good. Since then, he has lost many other jobs for various reasons. Okay, so he's irresponsible. And I have taken a crap happens attitude with him because I have a good setup at his place and I could come and go as I please. Well, you're also helping him, paying him rent. He lost another job, and with both him and I unemployed, there has been extra stress. Here's where I'd say, oh, it's stressful. Well, I guess you both man up and keep your acts together. Okay. I'm so sick and tired. Oh, life is stressful. I never like, in the days I was working 80 to 100 hours a week back in college, I didn't lose it. I didn't go haul off and punch people. I didn't get into fights. I was too tired. I had to keep it together. Why? Because I wasn't making that much money. You guys are both unemployed. Let me guess. Some drama's going to come in here. You're going to handle it like a bunch of little middle school girls. The stress led me to getting in an altercation that could have been a bar fight, but he broke it up. And eventually it led to an argument in which we have no longer been on speaking terms. He has also acted out drunk before with some reason. Okay, why don't you guys give up the booze, or at least you give up the booze? That's not helping anyone. He's pointing out the time I did it. He said I could stay since I have his back in the past, and But as soon as I am employed, we would need to reevaluate the living situation. He doesn't seem to realize that when he was unemployed and I was working multiple jobs, my rent was why he could pay a mortgage, my extra salary. I know how rent works. Allowed for me to give him some work so he wouldn't lose it. With some of my leads initially in other states and hybrid with the chance to be further remote down the line, do I owe my friend anything to stay and pay rent? Or should I take my job and leave just regardless of his employment situation? All right, well, regardless of what's happening in your life or in the past, you do not owe your friend anything, okay? He offers you lodging, you pay him rent. It's month to month. That's the agreement. That's the term. Now, he has helped you in the past. You have helped him in the past. And whatever minor problems you happen to have with this altercation and some booze, right? Doesn't sound like it was that bad. If you want to help him out, help him out. And I think it would be wise to stay there because, one, you don't have a job yet. You don't know where your job's going to be. You don't know what kind of work situation or arrangement they're going to have, whether that's remote work, hybrid, where it's going to be. Now, if you get a job out of state and it's a good job, yeah, you're going to have to leave him. You don't owe him anything, right? His house, his career, that's his responsibility. And so people just don't have it. You don't owe this guy anything. If you want to come $1,000 check, say, hey, thanks for all the help. I really appreciate it, but I got to go. Cool. He should have the mentality like, yeah, I understand you got that job offer wherever, Texas, California, whatever. And that's how it should go. But you do not, by any logic or principle or ethics, owe this guy anything. Did you pay your rent? Yes. Did he provide a place for you to sleep? Yes. Cool. But you could still help him out for a while because until you find a job that you know and trust, like let's say you find a job locally, which requires lodging within the same area you're at now. I would still not get an apartment the day you get that job offer because you don't know if they're going to bait and switch you. You know, if there's some cocksucking boomer that's going to lie to you there. So I would still I would still stay at that guy's place for another 4 months, stick around for the summer at least. If you get a job offer, see how that job goes if it's local. And then like, oh, this is stable. There's no effery going on. Then like, hey, Bob, his name's not Bob. I got to go. I'm going to move over here where it's closer. Thanks for all the help. If you want to toss him a couple bucks, that's cool too. But that's assuming you get a job offer that's in town. In other words, there are other things yet to be determined that will ultimately determine whether you're even going to stay there. But by no means do you have to stay there. You don't owe him anything. And yeah, should I just leave regardless of his? What was that? What was that? Was that a creature? Should I just leave regardless of his employment situation? That is his employment situation. That is his responsibility, not yours. I've learned from the past several years that regardless of how well, unwell you're doing, there's a certain amount of emptiness that is anxiety inducing. How do you mentally cope with uncertainty of life and keep a strong bearing so as not to deteriorate to the point that people are repelled by you and other parts of your life get worse as well? It used to seem easier in your 20s. All right, let me reread this again. I have learned from the past several years in your 30s that regardless of how well, unwell you're doing, there's a certain amount of emptiness that is anxiety inducing. Maybe for you, and maybe to a lesser extent, everybody else, but I'm going to say there's some specific to you that you have anxiety. Probably because your life doesn't sound all that stable. Now, there's nothing wrong with having roommates in your mid 30s. Absolutely not. But you came to this, like, where you came to the point that you thought it was a good idea to have 3 full-time jobs, which you were not able to do, although it indicates other reasons you got laid off. So maybe you were capable of doing it, but you were stressed out. And that from that perspective, you weren't able to do it. Something happened in your past that was unstable, that when you do not have stability, it produces anxiety. Totally understandable. Like if I didn't have a job, oh, yeah, worried to death. Like, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? How do you, so in your case, it may be more acute. For other people, generally so, but I'm going to say less so because most people have life on pretty easy mode with either parental or government support. And let's just be honest, most people don't think people are too stupid to think like, oh my God, did I save up enough money for retirement planning? They live in a blissful world. How do you mentally cope with uncertainty in life? By taking action. Now, you took way too much action, which brought you back to the same anxious, unemployed situation you were before. But you did kind of the right thing. You took action to ameliorate the risk, to lessen the risk. You just did too much of it. So now you have to intelligently do as much as you can that will be effective in lessening the risk. And you're already doing it. Like, for example, you're keeping your living expenses low, living with this guy. Very smart. You've applied for jobs. You said, what, you've been unemployed for only a handful of months? This spring. It's not even been a month, maybe. That's nothing to be unemployed. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay to be unemployed for a month. It's okay to be unemployed for 4 months. So this is okay. You already got some leads. You're applying for jobs. You're doing everything within your power. And once you do everything within your power, that's all you can do. And then you forgive yourself. Like, look, there's nothing else I can do because not everything is under your control. You're playing ping pong with 7 different people right now. You sent out 7 resumes. You hit out 7 ping pong balls. Let's say 3 of them ping ponged you back, and now you got job. Okay, you hit those 3 back. Until they hit the ping pong ball back, there's nothing for you to do. So you've done everything. I guess you could always apply for more jobs. But how do you mentally cope with uncertainty? Lessen the uncertainty, lessen the risk. Like I know it's a dumb example, but I got Miller moths. What did I do? I spent 3 days caulking the soffits, caulking everything around the house to keep them out. And they lessen. The amount of Miller moths have already gone down. All right. I have less stress because I took action. How do I cope with unemployment? I go out and get an invaluable skill. How do I cope with unemployment? I made sure I had I made sure I had multiple sources of income. I forgot. I found an old resume. Like, God, I did a lot. Online classes, dance classes, rental income, books. This was even the internet podcasting days. Yeah, take action. And looks like you don't have any girlfriends around, right? Looks like you don't have a job, so you got some extra time. What else could you do? Is there anything else you could do to enhance your resume? Is there a part-time job you could perhaps take, generate some income? Although with your DBA, I don't know if you have the time for it. And it sounds like you're taking action in other compartments of like you're working out, you're hanging out with some guys doing that particular sport you're doing. That's great. You're dieting. You're doing it all good. But at the end of the day, maybe you know what? I'm going to recommend go read the Way of Monkey book. Please go get that and read that. After a certain amount of time, you've done all you can do. And then at that point, you say, there's nothing left for me to do. I'm done and I'm not going to worry about it. You should even allow, especially summertime in your neck of the woods, you should go out and have a little bit of fun. Maybe go for a bike ride. Maybe go for a walk or something. I think now is the time to stop beating up yourself. You've done it. How do you cope uncertainty in life and keep a strong bearing so as not to deteriorate to the point that people are repelled by you? All right. Well, if you are getting to the point that the uncertainty in life is affecting your personality and behavior to the point that people are repelled by you, that uncertainty is having way more control and effect over you. And I think we go 2 or 3 videos back, he was paranoid about getting arrested and falsely being innocent and imprisoned. It was an irrational fear. All right, it's starting to have an effect on your behavior now. This worry starting to have an effect on your behavior, which now is starting to spread into your social life. And so, following the instructions I said before, do all you can. Acknowledge you've done all you can. Realize that once you've done all you can, there's nothing else to worry about. And then in theory, the worry should go away, and then forgive yourself and then go have some fun and stop worrying about it, which admittedly is easier said than done. But then you're going to be a more normal person, and your worry and fretting isn't going to spill into and ruin your social life. Repelled by you in other parts of your life, not deteriorate to the point that other people are repelled by you and other parts of your life get worse as well. Right. That's what you do is you stop. I don't know how the other parts of your life are getting worse as well. Stress got to you. It lessened your friendship with your roommate. All right. Next time, well, don't drink. That'd be an idea. And if you were not as stressed and not as worried, like, yeah, I did everything I could today. I'm going to celebrate with having a beer. Hey, yeah, no, everything's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed. I think once you put the real risk or the problem you're facing into context and realize you're doing everything you can to solve it, that stress should go down. And it's like the stress you're allowing to happen in your life gets you to 98% the distance of you exploding and blowing your top. And now anything very minor like a traffic incident, that is enough to throw you over the edge. What I'm trying to do is get you down to like, okay, you should be worried about it a little bit, but 20%. So that when normal things happen, like someone says something at a bar, you drive behind some slow idiot on the road, that extra 2% doesn't push you over the end and you're throwing punches or ramming people off the road. It used to seem easier in your 20s, probably because your parents were paying for something in the 20s. Or when you're in your 20s, you had student loans to pay for it, so you really weren't bearing the full weight and cost of adulthood then. Plus, you're younger, you had more energy in your 20s. So there you go. All right, so link below. I got a link. Please go get that book, The Way of Monkey book by Turd Flinging Monkey. Also link below. Doesn't sound like your dad was involved. I want to know what I should have asked. What happened in the past that you got to this point? I also don't believe in 90% of the cases of autism. I just believe it's bad parents. Why don't you take the dad you never had? Maybe it's worth the time, maybe not. I mean, you got your finance, you got your career. I mean, it's a good, impressive educational background you got and a career you're in. That's how I put this other like life management stuff. I don't know if that's autism. Is it really? I don't see the difference in the symptoms of people without fathers, without good parents, without upbringing, and those with autism. I really don't. I'm effed in the head and I don't know social situations. Sounds like you were raised by a single mom, frankly. I don't know if that's a mental disease. So maybe there might be something of value for you there too. And then for those of you with, You got social problems, social situations, consider that course down below. Hat and clogs, $2. Happy Cappy month. Gay pride flag. What's that? Surrender flag? A white flag? Thank you, Hat and clogs. So anyway, that's linked down below. And we'll see you guys later. Toodles.